What? How's it going?
Hello? How come I can't hear you guys? Can you hear me?
Can you hear me?
Mike, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, I can hear you as well.
Oh, I can hear both of you.
Okay, I can hear her. Oh, I know why. Headphones. My headphones are plugged in. I got it.
There we go.
There we go.
Hi.
Hi. Who wants to go first?
No one.
I
It doesn't matter.
could go, I guess.
Okay.
All right, so I totally changed my idea from the ocean idea to like a pioneer exhibit, and the idea is it would be like a touchscreen interface where you can navigate around a like a pioneer home and interact with different items that are there to simulate like how different things of olden times would function, and it would be in the Missouri History Museum because I know they have some like Lewis and Clark oriented exhibits, and they have a lot of interactive things going on, and so I feel like it would be a good fit there. And here's my mock-ups. So in the first picture, this is what the main screen would look like, and you can navigate to like different views of the house, and like the items like the fiddle that's displayed. I was thinking like maybe there could be some thing where you can like play around with it virtually, but I'm not sure that'd be too complicated. But like maybe you could click on it and listen to like a video pops up of someone playing like an old song, and like you can click on the fire to add logs to it. And in the second picture is an example of what it would look like if you clicked on the windows, and there'd be several windows, each having a different view and different wildlife elements and like nature elements that can be tapped on for more information. And so yeah, that's the basic idea. Is just you can navigate around this virtual house and see how things were.
Okay.
I love this idea.
You like the idea?
Yeah, I was originally gonna do something like this too, but I was gonna do about like the kitchen.
Oh,
But I
really?
like this idea so much better because it's so much like it's so different.
Yeah.
This took a lot of toying around with before I was content with it, but
Okay. Anybody else? Okay, I have a couple of comments for you.
okay.
Um, First of all, the screen mock-ups are not really a proportion of any kind of screen that anybody uses, really.
You're
The-
right.
So, make it look realistic. Like that, your proportions are kind of almost square, and so that that's not really realistic. Also, in terms of mocking things up, um, basically you just have a picture with some text on it, and I understand that you're kind of exploring this picture, but even if it's a virtual world, you would expect that there might be arrows on either side to encourage you to kind of pan the picture to see more of a 3D space. Also, in terms of an interface design project that's demonstrating interactivity, I think one of your screen mockups should show a little bit more interactivity. You know what I mean? Like maybe you need to mock up one of your specific activities. Do you know what I mean? So we see the connection. Okay, this is a picture we can navigate through, and I know that I click on things, but what kind of visual cues are you going to give the user that that one of the items is clickable. Maybe show that. So maybe there's kind of an outline that shows up around the violin or something that gives the user some kind of a clue that this is clickable,
Yeah.
And then I want you to think also beyond a touchscreen application that could just as easily go on an iPad or an iPhone. Maybe, I mean, if this, you haven't shown me any kind of interactivity that makes me feel like it needs to go in this physical space. Do you know what I mean? So, yeah, it relates to the content of the Missouri History Museum, sort of, because it's about history in Missouri. So that relates. But could it be an app that I pull up when I get to the History Museum, and then maybe it encourages me to go explore different areas of the History Museum to learn more about some of these artifacts in there? So it's more environment specific. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Yeah,
Or
it
if
could
it's,
also.
oh,
Go ahead.
sorry, one more thing. If it's mounted there, if it's going to be something that's mounted there, could you connect to the visitors in some way? Like maybe it is an app, and maybe it has a touchscreen presence, and people who are messing with the app and are exploring the museum, you start to see their feeds in there. As like Olivia has the app, and she's clicking on things, and she's gone to an area of the museum because it relates to the fiddle, and she can make comments and encourage people to come check out this part of the museum, and that all shows up on the main screen of the application in the lobby or wherever this exists. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So think about making it more tied to the environment, being that it's a museum, it's a public space, and connect it to that in some way. You see what I mean?
Yep.
The art museum does something very similar to what Julia said. Like, if they have like an exhibition up that's going on, they'll offer you the idea if you want to have carry on like an iPad with you, and it gives you more descriptions on each of the exhibits in the exhibition itself. So it makes the exhibition more interactive for the user.
So that's actually a thing at the art museum.
Yeah.
Okay, I might be doing that this weekend, so I'll check that out.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, anybody have any more comments? Okay. Who wants to go next?
I will, I guess.
Okay.
Since I'm so excited about my idea.
Really?
I finally came on an idea last night, so I did it all. Share screen.
Yeah, I think I had the same kind of thing a few days ago. I was like, wait a minute, option 2, that's an idea. So, yeah.
All right, can we all see it?
Yes.
All right, so I went back to, or I thought about when I was little and what I enjoyed the most, like when I was around this age for the target audience, and I really loved learning about fossils and like dinosaurs and prehistoric animals and stuff like that. So I thought that I could do something about fossils, and like, because it evokes like creativity or exploration, or like it involves hands-on learning and stuff like that for the kids. So my main concept is an interactive game for children to learn about ancient dinosaurs and other beings that roam the earth. Housing the exhibit, I figure it'll be like in the science center and the prehistoric dinosaur kind of area, or like if you want like kids to like to go on a field trip and learn about archaeology or anything like that. It could be in an archaeology exhibit or stuff like that. So how it's going to function. There's been this new thing that have been coming up, and they're called multi-touch tables, and you can like put glasses or interact with them, and you can do all these different things just by touching like a giant like TV screen. And I feel like that would be really interesting and really fun for kids, and it'd be big enough where it would evoke collaboration with little kids, because little kids like to learn from each other or learn by making friends with others, and then they can all like play together and all that good stuff. So this is the exhibit at the Science Center that I would feel that it would it would pertain to kind of this dinosaur feel, this interactivity of being surrounded by creatures that used to roam the earth and bones and all that stuff. And then the device are these multi-touch tables, something like this, where it's like a giant table that's also a touch screen. So multiple people can touch it all at once, and they can interact and do all these things. And I feel like that'd be a really cool idea. And here's like it evokes like collaboration, so all these people can touch it and do different things with it. And then I wanted to do where they actually find fossils. So like they'll be in the mindset of an archaeologist, and they have to use their hands or other appendages to move away the sand on top to uncover these fossil-like creatures that are located in the sand. And then once they find it, it'll bring them another screen. So I'll show that. So mine, this is gonna be like the landing page or the first page, and it'll just be like, welcome to the dig site. You're the archaeologist. Use your hand and appendages to move away the sand. So when you touch the screen, your hand is the brush or whatever other material, and you can actually move it side to side, up and down, and the sand will move wherever your arm is moving. So you're trying to move the sand away to uncover these fossils. And underneath is going to be a fossil of a prehistoric animal or whatever it is that you're looking for. So as you move it away, you're going to uncover this fossil of a prehistoric animal. And then when you uncover most of it and you can see a general outline of it, it'll bring you to the secondary page, where then you're going to have sort of like an animatronic page where this dinosaur will be more animated, more lifelike, like it was when it was living during the whatever period it was. So they'll have that, and then it'll have like a brief bio, like in most museums, they have like a bio of the animal and like a short description of when they live, what they do, what they eat, all that good stuff. Most little kids won't be able to probably sound out these words, so I'll have how to say it, and then if they need more translation, you can touch the icon and it'll have like a reader that's already recorded in it, and it'll say that word for them. Some people I know, like I used to not like to read, so you can have like a touch interface where you can touch it and it'll read. A voice will read the bio for you while everything is going on, and then these will be individual alternate sound icons that this creature or this dinosaur would have given during its lifetime. And yeah, and then you can touch back and go back to the dig site and uncover a new animal or whatever new fossils in there. So it randomly generates new animals, so it's not the same one over and over and over again.
Cool. What do you guys think?
One thing that I like about it is the fact that you could even have it as an app you can pick up and take with you outside the museum, and still be able to go through these and have a data bank of maybe 100, 200 creatures that are out there, trilobites and things like that. And that sounds pretty cool. Bring the museum with you.
Yeah, I thought about that. I just saw these tables and I was like, oh, these tables are like new, cool, and hip, and like I want to try and go for that. But like it could be like on like any kind of like touch interface you want that they actually wanted to use. But
yeah, I haven't heard about these tables yet, so that's a new one on me.
Yeah, they're pretty cool.
Nice design. I like it.
Any other thoughts?
I think it looks really nice. Kind of like mine too. But yeah, I think it's good.
I want it to be also like simplistic but yet elegant. So like everything on the page it's not so plain that it's just boring, but I want it to be like the kind of sleek, elegant. You're intrigued to go read it, and like the animation moves, so like it just draws kids in.
Zach, I think it's a great idea. I just have a few like nitpicky kind of comments.
Go for it.
Well, go back to your first screen. No, first page of your PDF. The first comment is to everybody. Do you see how his PDF is like all different shapes and sizes?
I'm still working on sizing everything, so.
Everything should be fit into 8.5 by 11. So if you don't know how to use InDesign to make a PDF that ultimately ends up to be 8.5 by 11, this is your golden opportunity to do so. Because a client gets it and they're going to print it, and it's just like, I've had some people turn in these PDFs, and some of your images, it's like 8.5 by 11. It starts all nice, and then some big ass image shows up, and I'm like, I can't even write on it through Canvas because it's like a 500 megabyte file. A client doesn't want that. I can't grade it effectively, and it looks really crappy. So make your PDFs so it's one packet of 8.5 by 11. And if you don't know how to do that, go on lynda.com for about 10 minutes, and you'll figure it out pretty quickly. That's my beef with everybody. First of all, can somebody explain the most glaring error on this page?
Fossils spelled
Yeah.
incorrectly.
Yeah.
Top.
I mean, Zach, you're just going to undermine your here, keep going. Wait, hold on. Go back to the page so we can look at it. I mean, you are a very intelligent guy with great ideas, but as soon as people see that, they're like, really? I'm going to pay, you know, a lot of money to have this guy develop this and he can't spell fossil correctly? So just be careful about that. Capitalization. Now look at your headers. You have problem statement, and it's all caps, like small caps and large caps, and then you get down to main concept idea, and you switch to uppercase, lowercase, and then how it will function. You're not using title case anymore. You've changed that. So pick one and just stick with it. Okay.
Yeah, never mind. All right, I've noticed all these things already, so I've just already started going in InDesign, like trying to fix it all and like lay out it all.
In InDesign, once you learn more about InDesign, what you can do is you can set up a paragraph style, and so all you have to do is once you create text, you say use this style, use this style, use this style, and then that ensures consistency. You go to one place and change it like a style sheet.
Yeah.
Okay, so go to your screens of your. First of all, I actually looked into these tables for a project that I was working on. The Garden was thinking about buying one of them.
They're awesome.
The smallest one is about $50,000.
Wow. God.
So they're kind of pricey. So you're going to need to be very compelling. But on the flip side, they wanted to have one, but when it came for like ideas in terms of what kind of interactive technology was going to be on it, they were kind of like, I don't know. So I think you've really designed something that takes advantage of this particular table. So assuming your client can afford the table, I think this is a really cool use for it. So if you go to your first screen, I don't know if you need any text on this.
Yeah, I was wondering that too. I was like, but I didn't know if they would just. I felt like it needed something on it.
Yeah.
I didn't know how else I could convey that it's touchscreen or that it's like what to do.
At the most, I think you need a statement that says "start digging."
Okay.
Keep it sort of mysterious. It's gonna, that's what's gonna encourage the interaction. This is a real exploratory type of experience.
Mm-hmm.
So as soon as somebody touches it, that text goes away.
Yeah, it's gonna fade, like I said up here. When you touch it, it'll just fade away and just be like just dirt or sand.
Yeah, and I think try playing with like maybe a Photoshop filter to kind of make the text look like it's actually imprinted in the sand.
When I was designing this, I was like, is this the project where I can finally get away with using papyrus? But I was like, maybe not.
Well, I don't know about the typeface. I'm just thinking, the effect to make it look like it's actually, Okay, keep on going down.
That's what I did on this one. I went to Photoshop and I put in the effect on this image.
Yeah, I think that's great. Okay, now go further to the last screen. On this page, just some ideas. I don't know why you have 5 sound icons on there. To me, that's a little bit confusing.
Okay.
I do see. I think you click on one sound icon and it plays the name and then it reads it to you. I don't know if you need any more. I mean, if you want to create another one where it's like, what does this dinosaur sound like? That's fine, but I think at the most you need 2. All of those other ones are confusing.
Okay.
I think that your presentation of your text, there's weird paragraph breaks in the alignment of it. I think that I would mess with this page a little bit to make you have information and you also have some pictures. So can you divide the space for like it feels like all of the content is going into like it's all hanging over into weird space and stuff.
Yeah, I need to go in and design and like work with a grid system. I'm gonna
Yeah.
go back and do make like a grid.
I think you could make this page look cooler, and I would encourage you maybe even to show the dinosaur in its environment, and then, have a background of like greenery and stuff like that on that side of the screen, and then on the right side of the screen would be the content that goes with it.
That's what I was worried about too. I was like, I don't know what to make the background because I didn't want it to be so overdone that it takes away from everything else. So I didn't know if I should make it like a tan or like how I should actually do that itself.
I think the gray is fine. It's real legible, but I wouldn't use a serif typeface. I would fix your alignment, and then I would have the dinosaur kind of moving around like the animatronic in the environment, in like a background where like Jurassic Park-ish, like the background. Yeah. And then your icon, I know in the assignment that I've been giving you about intuitive iconography, if you guys have done that.
Yes, I did.
Where it says return back to the dig site. I think you could make something that's immediately more understandable. What about, instead of that white, making that sand appear in the corner, and then like a shovel or something? And so immediately I'd know, okay, that's how I go back to digging. I recognize that sand. That was where I was like messing around and stuff.
Yeah, gotcha. That's a good idea.
So if you wanted to incorporate more features like email a picture of this dinosaur to myself or something like that, add a little email icon, and that would be another selling point for this.
Gotcha. Yeah, I don't want to go too far. I just want to like get the basic premise of the project before I start adding things.
yeah, but I think you're in good shape.
Yeah, this is
good idea.
Yeah, I just saw Jurassic World the other day. This was inspired by that.
Okay, cool. Anybody? Yeah.
When it comes to like iconography with the triangle thing, in order to help show it off, would in like the sand sequence, would it be best to have like that corner remains the same, like through no matter where you go through the entire program, that corner remains exactly the same. So like, oh, I recognize that, like you were saying, and but on a different page, maybe a shovel gets there, like you said. But to help with the design of it, just that corner always there. So it's like these pages go on top of the sand almost.
Yeah. Mhm.
And just would that work, like that kind of stuff?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, I'm going to move to Olivia because you're next on my screen. Is that okay?
Yep.
Go for it.
Okay.
Oh, wow. Okay. Let's see if I can do this. Can you guys see it?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Okay, just make sure. Okay, just a recap, I'm doing the plate tectonic boundaries and the continental drift exhibition. And I just added this on my proposal.
Mm-hmm.
So in the exhibit, there's like 3 activities that the user can do. So it's learn more about the continental drift, see the present-day tectonic plate boundaries or the fault lines, and learn more about those. And then the third one that I just created was they can like kind of make their own planet and create it that way. So I'll get into that later. Here are my mock-ups. I changed it a little bit. I have the menu bar on the left. I'm not 100% happy with it still. I'm still playing around with it. But I made everything bigger, and you're able to go to the different activities no matter what page you're on. I have that. And then this is, I'm still working on this as well, but this would be the plate tectonic boundaries that are real, and like you can click on the stars and learn more. So like the San Andreas fault, you would just click on that star right here, and then it would come up with more information of what kind of fault it is, the history of like earthquakes that have happened there, what we can find out more in the future that possibly might happen. So that's my progress so far.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think your slider is much more intuitive.
Yeah, I made it a lot bigger
Yeah.
with the little bubbles.
Yeah. What do you guys think?
I mean, I think it's good. The something that's distracting is the top left continental drift, with continental being cut off.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think if anything, you could just maybe just resize the font just a little bit for that one, and it wouldn't be that much of a difference. That would be that noticeable.
Yeah, I can agree with that. Thank you.
Hmm.
Yeah, the plate tectonic boundaries, you can already tell is a bit smaller anyways. So the continental drift, you can make that fit that. So yeah, it's already evident right there.
Okay. Yeah.
I just have 2 comments. I forgot to write down my second one. Oh, you mentioned the screen that had the stars on it where you can click and learn more.
Mm-hmm.
Show us what that learn more looks like.
Okay.
So is another piece of content going to lay on top of this that we can have, like, we can close the window after we've explored it? Or maybe there's a video that, takes us back to the last earthquake or, something like that. So I would show that layer of information too.
All right.
I think your buttons look a little funny on the left-hand side, and I agree with the comment about the hyphen.
Yeah.
Can I try something? If you let go of your screen, I'm going to... Oh, wait. Hold on one second. Let me do a screenshot of what you have here.
Okay.
Hold on a second. Okay. Do you mind just stop sharing, and then I'm going to I got a screenshot of what you're doing. Okay, can you guys see that?
Yes.
Okay. So, what's bothering me about these buttons is the way that they feel like they're in the same space as this space. So I just wanted to see what this would look like if I gotta make this. There must not be a closed line there. Sorry, bear with me just a second here. Okay. Now, do you see how it feels like those are in front now of your environment? It feels like those have popped into the foreground.
Mm-hmm.
And you could also give them a little bit of a drop shadow to make them look a little bit more 3D. I don't have a problem with the orange. I think it feels real kiddish, and that's probably appropriate for your target audience. And your illustration looks real kind of like kid-friendly.
Mm-hmm.
But now you've differentiated the space between what's navigation and what is the content that I'm interacting with.
Funny, because I originally had it like that, and I just changed it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I've been playing around with it. I just haven't been happy, but now that I'm looking at it now, it does look a lot better.
I'm gonna hold on. What do you guys think? Do you have any thoughts about this? Anybody think better, worse? No comment.
Better.
Better.
Okay.
I agree. Okay.
All right. The last thing I want you to think about is if there's any way that you can connect it more to make it a unique experience in the museum. Is there a way to take advantage of the fact that you have all these visitors coming by using it? It's in the museum environment. Can you tie it to the museum environment in some way? to differentiate it from just some app I could download and play with. If
Right.
there's a way that you can get that component in there, I think that'd be great.
Right.
Okay,
Yep. Thank you.
no problem.
Mhm.
I'm going to stop screen sharing. I have Caitlin here next. I'm going to click on you, Caitlin.
All right, give me a sec.
Okay.
Hey, Julia, when are you going to be on campus next?
Tomorrow? Why?
Okay. I need to give you something that I made in Rico's class.
A present?
Kind of.
Oh, nice.
We had to make something for someone that we thought that touched our lives. So I made something for you.
In a good way or a bad way?
You'll find out.
You're
I think
my
you'll enjoy it.
nightmares.
I think you'll enjoy it a lot.
There's an admissions event. I've got a meeting first thing in the morning, and then there's an admissions event at 11 or so. So just email me, and I'll let you know when I can meet up with you.
Okay.
All right, can you see it?
Yep.
Okay. So yeah, I'm doing I've decided the St. Louis Science Center Discovery app, and just kind of going off, what we did last week, just planning on using an app that kind of brings the exhibits to life, and pretty much just as someone uses the app, they take a picture of that item, and then it comes to life to their screen, and it's animated and it displays information. And starting out, we're going to do the dinosaur exhibit, but more exhibits will roll out over time, which is going to make people, want to come back for more. Mm-hmm. And then also just added a point system to kind of give people more incentive to use it. And so they'll receive points for each item they scan. And then there's going to be like a leaderboard within the app that shows the top scores, both overall and for that day, to give people kind of a competitive incentive. And then they're also going to be I figured there'd be promotions where certain times at certain days maybe to get people to come in, but they can scan for double or triple points. And then they can redeem their points for, I figured, probably concessions or movie tickets to the IMAX or something like that. So I came up with the home screen. And so you can, if you hit discover, it's going to take you to the camera. Leaderboard's going to show you, who's in the lead. And then, like I said, you can sort by overall in that day. And then redeem's going to be where it takes you to, this is how many points you have, and then these are the available, prizes, and I figured to pull up, a coupon. And then, it's just taking a picture of something in the exhibits. And then once it recognizes it, it's going to, bring that item to life on the screen. So you'll see, the Triceratops walking towards you, and then if you choose to, if you want to learn more, then you just swipe, and just pulls up some information, and then you can either go back to your camera or you can go to the home button, and that's what I've got.
Okay.
So pretty much the changes I made is just, like you mentioned, just changing the fonts and alignment and adding the home button and figuring out how to give more incentive to use the app for the rewards and stuff.
Okay. What do you guys think? Do you have any comments?
I do. I'm sorry. On the last pages, I would like to see a little bit more color. I know you're probably still working on it, but right now it's just a little boring to me.
Yeah, I'm not really sure what to do for the background. Kind of like how Zach was mentioned earlier. I figured, I wanted to be more in detail, but then again, I don't want it to take away from the information.
Yeah,
I figure out how to do that.
Dinosaurs are hard because they're all the same color.
Yeah.
Anybody else?
I do. How would the app know what pictures are being taken of what objects or items? I
Um,
mean, if you have an IRF code or the little square stuff,
mhm.
that makes sense because it's part of a code thing, and you have a database to look through. But when you're taking photos,
Yeah,
not every phone can have a face recognition sort of software running.
I figured, I mean, well, it's not going to be like every item within the museum. Like, there's going to be certain items, and they're all going to have like a camera or like app symbol next to them that's going to like inform people that they can scan them. And then, I mean, I figured, like this is going to be for Android and iPhone, and they all should have good enough cameras to be able to do that recognition, I would think. So, it's just
That
an
people
idea.
might want to do it at different angles, or maybe too many people are crowded in one spot and can't get the picture just right. People are moving around. I don't know. Just trying to think of issues that might happen because um, people might zoom in too close and it wouldn't work, or um, maybe you take a picture of just the leg. How would it know the Triceratops leg versus Parasaurolophus leg, or
Right.
whatever?
Yeah.
That kind of thing. Like I said, the QRF codes make much more sense, or have like a spot. Like, hey, in this area, if you take a photo at the widest angle or something, it should recognize it from here.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I thought about that, and I could have done codes, but I didn't. That didn't seem to be like as interactive. I guess like you'd have to actually go up to the little
And
part.
you'd actually have to have the app to scan the code in the first place. Yeah.
So it's kind of like you take a picture, and like it'll either when you're like framing the picture, I guess it'll either say like good to take a picture, it recognizes it, or it'll say readjust or something like that maybe.
Caitlin, I think also the issue could be solved by tracking the user's location when
Okay.
they took the picture. And if they're close enough and, if there are a few conditions met, it finds it. Maybe there's some suggestions like, hey, are you standing in the right location?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Something like that. Can you go back to the first screen? Okay, keep scrolling.
Like
There you go. Okay. The first thing I noticed is your Discover icon.
mhm.
Um, I would maybe consider using a different thing inside the camera besides the two arrows, because anybody that's used a phone, that means like switch each
Gotcha.
way. And so I think there's already meaning in our brains about what that means, and you're not using that meaning. And
Gotcha.
so it could be a little counterintuitive. So oh, Caitlin, what about like a magnifying glass inside there instead?
Yeah, that would work. I was just thinking more like consistency. So it's like, when you're within the app, there's the camera icon that takes you back to the camera, but probably magnifying glass would work better.
As that implies you're discovering with the camera.
Right.
So, okay, keep going.
Down.
Yeah, keep going. I think that's good. You're showing how you mock it up.
Mhm.
I mean, with what Olivia's saying about everything's white and black, and what we associate with white and black is like those old cans of like generic food, So perhaps can you make your interface feel more like an interface? So kind of like what we were doing with Olivia's, where we kind of designated what is interface, what is content. One thing you could do is you could make a column over on the left where all of your icons sat, and so the user intuitively understood this is content area, these are navigation areas, and use some gradations of color to help communicate that. So I feel like your icons are kind of floating in space
Okay.
right there, and they kind of creep in on your content area.
Okay.
And in addition, I want to go back and see my letterboard. I feel like that letterboard icon, the icons that you introduced here in the first screen, I want to see how I'm doing points-wise. So, you know, and maybe the redeem button. You do a good job of explaining what these icons mean. Now I want to see them again. And you've introduced the color of red here.
Okay.
So perhaps that red could be brought in. Your icons could be red on a black in the sidebar or something like that to kind of connect all of the branding together.
Okay.
And again, go down to your very last screen. The text, I would try perhaps like maybe something like a shade of gray, or maybe that area that has text on it, you split the screen so that it's kind of in a gray area with light text. Or I think you can make it look a little bit more elegant, is what I'm trying to say.
Okay.
I think that's all I had to say about it. But I think it just needs a little massaging. It's a good idea, though.
Okay.
Look at other apps and see what you think looks elegant, you know, and steal those techniques. Okay, next person on my down the line is Ian. You ready, Ian? I can't hear you, Ian. You could pantomime. So did you guys all get registered?
I have some questions for you regarding like subbing classes for my minor, but.
Oh, I can't do that because your minor is controlled by Noriko.
Oh, okay. I'll talk to her.
Okay, let's switch Ian to go to Gypsy. I'm going to skip over Ian for the time being.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, okay, we'll go back to Ian.
Okay. Okay, so I don't really have like my final PDF together still. I'm working on that, and a lot of my stuff is still just sketched out on papers. But I kind of revised what I was doing after the last class. And kind of went a little bit with the thing you were talking about, and kind of like what Brian was saying. So instead of, doing just like an app like what would be on a phone, it's an exhibit where you can go in and it'll take you, scan you, and put you in, and kind of the focus is more on how you compare to, I don't know, big stuff around the world. So like big monuments that you might know about, or big places. Okay. So you would go in and you press start, and it would scan you, and it would get like your how tall you are and how wide your arms are. And like this is like a rough thing, but so it would look something like this to show you, and then there would be something to click on down here that would take you, and my ideal is that it would give you like a little slideshow, kind of, I don't know, maybe 10-15 seconds on each one. And I have a big list of different places and objects, so like things like this, and it would choose probably like 5 from that list and show you one of each. And it would be different each time, so it's not always the same stuff. It would say, how many of you stacked on top of each other would make this on one page, and then it would give you another one, and then it would show you. So it would go through those. You could like pause it, or you could like cycle through, go back and forth, and then at the end it would just kind of have like a summary page with all those things and the things it has written about it, and then I guess you could start over or go back, and the next person could go.
Okay, any thoughts?
I can't wait to see mock-ups.
Yeah. I have them drawn. They're just not really here.
where do they take the picture? Like, does someone else take the picture,
No,
or?
no. So like you would push start, and then there'd be probably like a spot on the ground that would tell you where to stand.
Okay.
Stand there with your arms out, and it would just scan you, and like it would be programmed in with how far away you are to be able to measure your height and your width or your arm span.
Okay, I got you.
And then it would take your picture while it's doing it, and it would use that picture. So it'd probably be in front of like a green screen.
Okay.
Any other comments? Ian, I think that this exhibit is ripe to be tied to a database of previous visitors.
Okay.
Because there are all these kids that are coming in that are about, that are comparing their size, and if it collected that information, it'd be fascinating to see, hey, you're the tallest 6-year-old that's been here. Wouldn't that be kind of interesting to know that?
Yeah. So like maybe put in something where like at the beginning on top of like scanning, it kind of takes in like how old you are and stuff like that.
And what country you're from even. I mean, you might be a shrimp in the United States, but in other countries you're actually pretty tall. So it might be interesting to tie into averages from around the world, and then this like finding the locations from around the world. That seems like kind of an after the fact kind of thing.
Okay.
I mean, that's cool to be able to compare yourselves to monuments around the world, but what about also the average
people.
6? Yeah.
Okay.
And then like maybe you can see, well, who's the tallest person that's ever come to the museum, and you get to see Mike Smith from Little Rock, Arkansas. He was 6'8", and you know what I mean?
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, when you collect all that information in a database, you can allow the users to access it in different ways. I want to see the tallest 6-year-old that's come here. How does that person compare to me? And then maybe their silhouette shows up in the background, or where's the shortest 6-year-old, or I don't know, something like that takes advantage of all this data that can be collected.
Yeah.
Any other comments about Ian's
Well,
project?
interesting use about the tech though would be that it could be used for finding the current average height of people.
Mm-hmm.
So that's an interesting piece.
Yeah, I mean, once you have that data, you can display it in all different ways.
Okay.
Okay, Ian, you got a lot of work to do, buddy.
Yeah.
I'm going to move on. Gypsy, can you hear us, or can we hear you? No audio for you? You can't hear me? Oh. Anybody hear Gypsy?
Nope.
Okay, let's move on to Brian. Are you ready, Brian?
Yeah, ready.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, so after the last topic and realizing that someone else was doing dinosaurs, I took the second option that I had up, and I've been working on that, writing it out and addressing questions that you had, and go, And so I ended up coming up with the environmental effects of the world, because I remember this from a movie once, and I thought that was interesting, and why that wouldn't be public knowledge, or more common knowledge at least. So yeah, here's the write-up for it. And then been working on what would consist of the program, like using the idea I had before, as well as a little bit of what I forgot her name was working on with the tectonic plates, because I was going to do something like that anyways, but yeah. Have a timeline and 3D representation, and then I go, wait a minute. if it's going to be an app or some sort of display format, then you wouldn't necessarily have an entire engine built to create the globe, and so it's like, well, what's currently out there? Well, Google Earth, and that would also mean that the exhibit has to be plugged into the internet. But then again, it's the museum, and most likely is going to be already in this sort of digital format that's being used nowadays. So not unheard of to be connected.
Yeah,
And so you'd be able to use the Google Earth to create it. Oddly enough, kind of similar to how she's got it right now, but um, I think it was shown last time, and that got my ideas working on that.
Brian, it still feels really all over the place. I don't know.
Well, the thing is, what I was so where was the write-up on it? I thought I wrote it down somewhere. I had to probably to actually finish it and have it in my brain. Time slider, move on. Hypothesized reason of environmental representations and the environmental effects on the world, how they relate to the Earth's past and future. Kind of like how we're able to know based upon tectonic drift, Pangea. Well, the idea came from, again, like I said, the movie, where we could predict what environment happens back then, like, the asteroid hit, what it looked like, the kind of weather patterns.
I
Discovery
think
Channel does it all the time already.
I think this is all over the place, and I don't feel like you put
Really?
much effort into it at all. And I think that it's so broad. If you want to talk about one aspect of it, that would probably be plenty. Like, for example, you've mentioned asteroids and volcanoes and plate tectonics, and you've mentioned so many different things. So let's focus on asteroids. I'm curious, when is the last asteroid hit? When will it hit? Where did it hit in the world? What is the prediction for when the next one would come? What could we do to avoid it? Is there a way to protect it? I mean, just one of these little topics that you mentioned in all of this writing could be a very rich experience, but you've got so much content here, it's overwhelming. So you need to be very specific in what you're trying to do and what the learning objective was. This is really all over the place still.
Okay, so even more specific than this, then. Okay.
Well, you got to mock it up. I have no idea what this is going to look like. I don't know how you're going to interact with it. I don't know how they're going to learn anything about it. Like, what do you want your visitor to come away learning from? Like, oh, we're all going to die one day? Or, what is the... Or, okay, I understand. Asteroid hits are so rare, this is probably never going to happen in my lifetime. Or, I don't know. What do you want them to come away with learning? And this is one exhibit experience. You can't expect them to teach them all of environmental science, in 10 minutes. So pick a narrower topic and be very specific about environmental effects on the world. Oh, are you talking about, like, if I throw my trash out of my car and leave it on the ground?
Yeah, that was like the original backdrop idea I had. It's like, well, because there's the whole global warming, global cooling, but how is this related to the last ice age? Because the world was a lot warmer during the times of the dinosaurs, and then it cooled, and then it warmed, and then it cooled twice over so far, and we're supposed to hit a warming right now, but because of estimates on what we're doing with methane and environmental effects, we're speeding it up, making it happen sooner than it should, Earth-wise.
Okay, well then focus specifically on that. What you're just talking about, you just need to. I don't think any of us would have had any idea about that. And how are you? What do you want kids to come away with? And maybe you can pull things away, actions away to speed the warming time, or I don't know. But there are a million different ways you could create an interactive experience around one of these subtopics. But you need to define it and tell us what it's going to be.
Okay, so even more specific.
Yeah.
I can do that.
Okay, I'm going to move on to Gypsy.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yay. Okay, awesome. Woo. Let me pull everything up.
How do I stop the?
Stop sharing.
Yeah, there we go. Okay.
Just give me a second.
Ooh. Whose is that? Is that your microphone, Gypsy?
No, it's my computer.
Oh,
Sounds like
wow.
an
It's hot, and I haven't had a fan on it a cooler on it this whole time. So is it really loud to you?
Yeah, but it's okay. We can handle it.
Yeah, I'm probably on the last leg of this. I'm hoping it'll make it through this semester because the fan's just running hard.
It's like a lawnmower.
Sounds like an airplane.
Yeah, it sounds like a jet engine going away. Okay. There you go. Is that good for you?
Yeah.
Okay, so
We remember a lot of the text from last time, so just kind of tell us what's changed.
I'm focusing on the Magic House
Mhm.
as the place where the museum is. It's still space exploration. My my focus is on the one where the children start out with an adventure where they go to Mars and they put a flag on Mars.
Okay, cool.
So I was able to come up with a way where I can not only make them interactive at the module at the museum, but then be able to take it at home and then actually interact with an interactive one page. And there's 3 visits. They're encouraged to come back and do the module again.
Mhm.
Everything's in 3s, so they have 3 visits, and then at the end they get a prize.
Mhm.
And so it's going to be encouraged as being something that can bring them back to the same module, but with a different experience 3 times. So the first visit, the child will recline into the module, kind of like that scene of the International Space Station. That would be sort of the inspiration of it, where they sort of are cradled in it. And then they'll take a tablet-sized touchscreen with physical controls, with an audio headset interaction and LED colored light displayed onto a larger screen that's inside the module that's above their head. This module could also hold 2 people side by side, head to head, to encourage cooperative play with other children or the adult that's with them. And I geared towards coming up with learning experiences that were interactive off of this Smithsonian Institute Early Child Learning Collaboration Network, and I put the link on here for you, Julia, to see.
Good, cool.
So this is kind of, I don't have complete mock-ups. I've got ideas here for you and some like visuals, but I was waiting to get a critique to kind of get an idea of which one should be mocked up. But I see the controller being inside a plastic, a plastic, it's a tablet size, but it'll look like it's something that they would be driving or something they could put their hands on, and then it would have all the cues, and then above them would be a bigger, larger screen. So their first visit, the child would recline into the module and enter information, and the information that they would enter would be their name, their full name, and then their zip code. And then the child would then be prompted to have their photo taken, and the child will then be asked to pick out one of 3 objects to put their photo into, which is an astronaut helmet, or Mars alien head, or a robot head. And then the child will be prompted to buckle up and prepare for launch, and the child will then be prompted to use the control panel, which is that mounted tablet, to steer the rocket to Mars by watching the larger monitor screen that's above their head. And the child will interact with a video that will simulate the child being taken from Earth to Mars, and the child will be prompted to learning about objects passed by, such as the International Space Station and other celestial objects. And then once they're at Mars, the child will be prompted to exit the rocket and place their personal flag onto the planet. The child will be given a few fun facts about the environment of Mars, and at the end of their first visit, at the end of their first Adventure to Mars exhibit, they'll get a printout that will present to the child their personalized little Mars flag with their picture of whatever object that they picked to be inside of. And then on the back of that printout will be a QR code that the child can then scan via mobile or tablet at home that will launch a responsive one-site page for that visit. The child will be prompted to play a learning game about current NASA research to send Earthlings to live on Mars, and the child will then be given the opportunity to print out a return ticket to a second adventure at the Magic House Adventure in Mars exhibit. On the second visit, the child will recline into the module and place the ticket onto the mounted tablet, the rocket ship control panel, to be scanned, which will pull up that child's image that they picked before. And then now they'll be prompted to pick out a color or design for a Mars roamer of their own, which is their car. So they'll get to pick out the color of the wheels and a radio song. So then the child will be prompted to buckle up and prepare to launch. And again, the same process happens. But once they're on Mars, the child will be prompted to exit the rocket and explore the landscape in their Mars roamer with their little song that they picked. The child will be given a few fun facts of the environment at Mars, and at the end of their Mars visit, they'll get another printout ticket with a QR code that'll let them go to the responsive one-page site for that second visit, where then they can learn more facts about NASA research and interact with that. It's very simple, though. I don't want to do a lot on that, but just and then they'll be given the opportunity to print another ticket for their Adventure to Magic House Mars Adventure exhibit. Their last visit, the child will recline into the module like they did before, but this time they'll be able to pick out a color and design of their Mars home. Again, 3 choices: color, shape, or pet that they can bring along. They'll be prompted to do the same thing they were before, so they'll have familiarity but a different adventure through the travel. When they are at Mars, they have their flag that's on Mars that's always been there that they see when they go to the interactive site page at home that, you know, takes them to their little spot. So now they've got a car, a flag, and their little house and their pet. When they get the next ticket for their at-home adventure, the last part of this is that they get to print out a 6-page coloring book that has the first 2 are from the first adventure, the next 2 are from the second adventure, and the last 2 are from their third adventure. And that's a 6-page coloring book that they get to have, that they get to print out and color, and then that's the sort of the end of their experience. The privacy security note that I put on this is that the zip code is a GPS location to place the child's flag onto the surface of the Mars. So my idea would be that we would just take the same GPS locating of Earth onto the surface of Mars and other different sites, but it could be done where their flag would always kind of be in correlating areas of their friends that live near them and their family members. So, but whenever they're in the museum, that's the only time that you'll see a picture on the flag of the child that they picked and their name. On the website, they only get access to those pages with their QR. So their image will come up, but not the image of other children, just flags around them. So they can see flags starting to pop up each time they go from the second and the third visit. New flags will be showing up around them. Mm-hmm. But I don't want this. I wanted to put the note of security in there just because we're talking about children.
Yeah.
That's a concern. And so, but their last name will never be shown in public, just their first name and their picture, and only inside the museum. So I kind of drew up just a flow chart. I know we don't need to, but it was just for me to figure it out. Mm-hmm. So the Adventure to Mars, here's the 3 choices. They travel, they get a ticket, they go to the one page, they play a game, they get prompted to print a ticket, they go to the museum, they get 3 choices, they travel, they get a ticket, they leave, they go play a game online, then they get a ticket, they come back to the museum, they get 3 choices, they travel, you know, they get a ticket, they play a game at home, and then they get this coloring book as their reward. So I wanted a critique just to be able to know, I mean, I know that I'll mock up what the handheld looks like and what the screen looks like when they're traveling, but just kind of what you would want to have mocked up. Maybe one of this, maybe one of what it would be like, maybe like on the second visit for the site. I don't know. I mean, I can just make note that that this is the reward at the end of it, is images of them, their first visit, their second visit, and their third visit on their coloring book, but I don't have to put it, I know, in this. I just wanted to say that it has a beginning, a middle, and an end, and a reward.
Okay, wow, that's a lot. There's a lot to talk about. I'm going to let you guys comment first.
I didn't know those made so much detail. So my first question is, if I go, like, since I go to museum, I don't ever think about returning. What exactly is gonna like make them want to come back, like draw them back immediately?
They get a ticket that they can actually print out. The idea would be that, you know, maybe hang on, let me get out of this screen sharing. Am I out? Okay. Well, that was the thing, was I was trying to figure out, because just to go and put a flag on Mars and that be their only experience seems a little lame. I mean, I can limit it to just that, but it seemed a little bit, I mean, I love the idea of it. You know, it's simple. They take their picture, they travel, they can put their flag on Mars, and then there it is. But I was like, well, why would, you know, what would the museum want more? They would want them to interact with this thing and want to come back. So since photo booth printing is similar to what I'm talking about, where they get the printout of their flag, I thought, well, why can't they have a QR on the back of it that then can be scanned on a phone where they can continue this game? And then if they're going to continue the game at home, why not give them another ticket to print out and have them come back and have a new experience? And then limit it to only 3 experiences. And for their reward for doing that, they get a coloring book. And then maybe at the end of the coloring book, they have a coloring contest of that one page that they bring back. And then the reason why they know about the coloring book is because kids have brought their one-page coloring contest thing, and it's presented in the area of the module. So I like to think of the concept of what would actually make them want to interact with it. I know for this project I'm not going to go into all the way to the whole experience. I'm only going to mock up like the beginning of it, but just to mock up them going to Mars and putting a flag on it seems a little lame. And why would, you know, okay, so they do it once and it's done. I mean, when they want to go and see how many flags are getting are showing up from theirs, around theirs.
Does anybody have any other comments?
Anyway, I mean, I'm more than willing to nix stuff. I just didn't want to present an educational concept that was going to sort of be like, well,
yeah,
okay, they did it once and then that's it.
Okay, go ahead, Caitlin. What were you going to say?
I just kind of think, like, kind of what Zach was going off, like, is that ticket going to be enough to kind of want to draw them in? Like, and is a coloring book going to be a good enough reward, you know? So. Well,
the age target that I picked was from 4 to 8. So, I mean, I think of my grandson who's 5, and also raising my daughter, going to the Magic House. I mean, when we went to the Magic House, this was sort of a field trip for us as a family. So the cues to be able to keep interacting with this is probably going to be focused on the parents. But the fact that there is actual, like, a personalization being done, that makes the child feel like it's more of their own adventure. So, like, the picking of who they want their face in, and then on their flag, that makes it personal. And then when they get to pick out their car and do the 3 different choices, that makes it personal. And then whenever they get to pick their home, that makes it personal. Okay. And then they can see it there. So the idea is that they can have a further learning experience on the one-page site that the QR from the module gives them. Right. It would be, I mean, yeah,
I think we got it. I don't think you need to justify this. I think you're giving them. I think it's a cool experience. I think you can make things a little bit easier to track where the kid is in the experience. For example, let's say you did the Mars thing, you don't bother printing the ticket or going online after the visit, but you check in at the Magic House, you say, oh, hey, here's your ticket, you did the first part to Mars, if you want to go check that out again, you're ready to take your second trip or something, and they can remember you. You know what I mean?
Well, the module itself, at the very end of the very first one, Julia, I was thinking would print the ticket then.
Right, I know, but I mean, who holds on to that? You know what I mean? If they don't, I think you can. There's some of these.
The museum monitors that.
Because it would be kept in a database or whatever.
Yeah.
That's what I was going to say. It's like a database.
I think that when you're going to Mars, you know, Mars is so far away that it would actually take like a year to get to. So connecting it to some kind of a time scale would be an important learning component, I think. Like as the days go, the days like day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4, day 5, and the kids are like, oh my gosh, it would take that many days to actually get there. I would incorporate that into your mock-up, and that would be interesting to mock up. I think the other mock-up that I would do is seeing all those other kids' flags on Mars would be kind of neat.
Yeah, that's why I thought that that would be an interesting thing for them to have to see how they're. That's why with the 3 visit, when they go back the second time, there may be more flags around.
Right. I think you did a really great job of tying it well into a specific museum, and so I just want to commend you on that. The reference that you used at the beginning, that's a great tactic to justify why you're doing what you're doing. And I think you're really getting that, you're selling it to the museum and telling the museum it's based on some actual research. So I think that's good. I think the idea of the pictures, have you guys seen those jib jab animations where you can like elf yourself and stuff like that?
Right, exactly.
I mean, that is hilarious. Like if a kid has a funny picture of their head on an alien body, they're going to love that. They're going to want to see it at home. They're going to want to show their friends. They're going to want to email it to people. So I think that's a great thing to create for them.
And that goes on their flag, whatever they put, and then it stays inside the car window and on their flag, and so it's just kind of a nice. And then the idea was that when they go to the interactive one page, they can then have access to that image.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. And then I think the coloring book is a great idea, and I think it's age appropriate for 4 to 8. I wrote down here, is it age appropriate for older kids? You could always, but I didn't realize your target audience was like 4 to 8. I mean,
because I figured after 8 they want real good video games. They don't want this sort of like, you know.
Yeah. No, but I think you're on the right track. Your flow chart that you drew on the board and took a picture of, that was great, getting something rough out there so that we could understand it better. Yeah. I think that's a great tool to explain your ideas, so I would formalize that. Just mock it up, recreate it in Illustrator or something like that, and integrate that into your presentation.
Okay. So what do you think I should mock up, just that first experience, like of them, what their flag would look like, and what their what the handheld navigation thing, and then the screen as they're traveling? That timeline, I like that timeline.
Yeah, that would be a good one. I think seeing all the other flags out there would be a good one. I think that with the flowchart really helps clarify. I don't remember what I said in the assignment. I think you have to do at least 2 screens of the experience in play. Yeah, so just pick the 2 most interesting ones.
Okay. Yeah.
But I think you're in good shape.
Yeah, I'll throw my grandson in an alien head and call it a day.
Yeah, some silly Photoshop work.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, I think most of you are on the right track. Yeah.
I don't know if anybody else would think this would be cool for adding to Gypsy's thing, but because Gravity came out and The Martian came out, Martian specifically going, hey, Rover, like each section go as seen on or seen in this movie, and have it like small promotional to those things. So like when you do the Rover thing, like, hey, remember The Martian or something? I don't know. It could be an interesting idea to add into there.
But they're 4 to 8. They're not going to know what that is.
Well, it's for the parents.
I think that museums generally like to shy away from commercial connections as much as possible. Okay. It's one space where everything isn't like a marketing piece, and they try to avoid that. That's why you generally don't see that in a museum.
Okay.
I just wanted to ask you guys if you had any questions about Project 3. I know you probably aren't thinking about it yet. Since this is due on Saturday, I did have a critique scheduled on Monday, but is that too soon to really talk about anything with respect to Project 3? Or do you want me to just keep it as is?
I won't have anything ready, but you can
I
have
haven't
them.
even had time to look at Project 3.
Okay.
I didn't know about it until just now.
Absolutely everything is posted for the rest of the semester. So all of the visual scavenger hunts, all of the discussion questions, everything that you need to do for the rest of the semester is all posted and ready to go. So take a look at it. I probably will just keep the 5 o'clock session and log in. If nobody's there, nobody's there. But I just want to remind you that's the next one that's scheduled.
Mm.
And then next Thursday, we're meeting in person again. Okay?
Hey, Julia.
Yeah.
I'm going to be on location. They've told me that there's no Wi-Fi at the cabin that I'm working on this film, but that the lodge has Wi-Fi. So I will try to log in at 5. But if you don't see me, I don't know. Can I do Hangout on my phone?
I don't know about that, but
Yeah,
I don't think
I
you're.
don't know. It might be able to, because I looked into that myself, and I had to call in, and it could be possible. I don't know if your phone has camera, but
It does.
it should work with audio. But I haven't actually tried it because I'm using my laptop here. So
Worst case scenario, I can probably make a hotspot out of my iPhone for my computer. So I will definitely try to do that. And the
Okay.
worst case scenario is I can't because I'm not in a reception area.
I think actually you're one of the people that have one of the most number of critiques done. So I think you're actually in pretty good shape on
Okay.
it. Make sure you guys go into grades and see how many critiques you have credit for. People are anywhere from like 2 critiques that they've participated in into up to 5. And remember, you need 8 by the end of the semester. So Monday, if you want to get a critique in on Monday, I would get something down on paper, whether it's some sketches, type out some ideas about what you're thinking about doing, maybe do some preliminary research, just so that you have something to get some feedback on if you're going to participate on Monday. But if I don't see you Monday, I will see you Thursday in class at 9 o'clock, okay?
All right.
Okay, well, good luck finishing things up. Email me if you need anything, okay?
Okay.
The final thing is due Saturday, I think at noon, I said?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. All right, well, good luck. Have fun, guys. Bye.
Bye. Thank you.
right.